журналісти, шановні гості, вітання. Ми продовжуємо серію прес-брифінгів. Зараз будемо говорити на тему кадрові зміни у державному підприємстві.
We continue our briefings. Now we will be talking about staff changes at the state enterprise coal mine Krasnolymanska. Our guest shall be Konstyantyn Kiseliov, General Director at Krasnolymanska mine, Evhen Kostiennikov, Deputy Director for General Issues, Valentyn Shchepotin, Head of the Trade Union Committee. Dear guests, you are welcome. Good afternoon. The Krasnolymanska mine, coal mine, now is the most successful enterprise in the coal sector of Ukraine. The mine has 3 million reserves of high-quality coal. The energy segment and coke segment of the marketplace, but in 2004 the mine was divided into 2 parts and a lot of its assets has been given to the private hands. We also have a concentrating factory. We do not need enrich our coal. The energy companies are our consumers. The thermal power plants are our consumers, and all coke chemical plants also are our consumers. What is the situation now? I was dismissed in 2010 after Yanukovych came to power because I supported Yulia Tymoshenko's bloc. That is why I was just fired. It was the wave of persecutions. After Maidan events, when the threat from Yanukovych's family disappeared, I came back to the enterprise. When I came, I saw that the redundancies were about 25% of staff were reduced, and the salaries also were reduced. The youth stopped to be trained, and the private company controlled to Yanukovych family also withdraw about 400 million hryvnias from the enterprise. We carried out lots of activities. We added the number of minor teams. We restored our capital construction, so we have conducted a lot of works, and we raised salaries by 30%. Everything was good, but the labor collective, the limited company joined with the state-owned company, and we have now one company which is state-owned. But you know that the good things may stop one day when someone would like to earn from the enterprise. So some friends like an MP, Yuri Bereza, appeared at the horizon along with his companions who decided that they are to become the owners of this mine. First they appointed some assistants who were not assistants, but when we tried to find out what for do we need these assistants, then Mr. Bereza started to send, to voice out threats to me in person, and this exploded the situation at the enterprise, and it is only naturally that I didn't want to go out and to be dismissed. So what we need to get prepared to? Yes, we prepared, and there were journalists, and I think that the grassroots public saw that we have the self-defense at our enterprise who are on duty, so we have prepared to this situation, and the Ministry of Fuel and Energy Demchyshin is also involved into this dirty game, and the order was issued to dismiss me from the office, and the acting my first deputy was appointed to my office, and he works as an acting director. Our enterprise is a complex company. It is one of the most dangerous in the coal sector, and to work at the top managers' positions without high education in mining. This is impermissible, and but we can see that the ministry doesn't know these things. And one more point was also violated. 2 months ago, I won the competition for general director's office, but the contract was not signed with me. Yesterday, with the trade unions representatives, I came and asked the ministry why the contract hadn't been signed. This means that some suspicions are present, and you saw that the situation resulted in the fact that 700 miners came to Kiev yesterday, and yesterday they picketed Verkhovna Rada. Even more than 700 were willing to come, but we tried to restrain our people, most of them. The court proceedings took place, and I won the case, but our company needs stable situation. We need that nobody interfere with our activities. I was yesterday at the committee of Verkhovna Rada for fuel and energy. Everywhere I told the only things, dear MPs, address your matters, and our enterprise can survive without your help.
Good afternoon. My name is Kostiennikov, Evhen Kostiennikov. I'm a Deputy General Director of the mine Krasnolymanska. 1 year ago, when, according to the court decision, was reinstated in his office our director, we actually covered the facts of the nowadays, let's say, stealing, and they stole actually 4 million hryvnia from this mine, who is nobody going to return to us, judging by all the circumstances. All different kind of commissions were set up. SBU employees and militia were coming there. They seize the documents in this mine. Nothing, no progress. Nobody did anything, right, no conclusions on this specific case, taking in consideration that this is a public-run or state-run enterprise. When we approached this mine and they saw what has been stolen and the attitude of the workers to the management and the existing authorities in those days, because the Krasnolymanska mine is situated in the ATO zone, close to the front line, and many workers left the mine and they joined the PR formations, and they call us and they say just to return this trust to the government and to the management of the mine. It took us at least 1 year. During this year, many people returned. They trust and start to believe us, and they understood what happened at this mine. And what followed, what events followed, like the previous speaker, the director mentioned here, what happened. We have such a friend, so to say, as Bereza. He actually declared himself to be the manager, the host of this mine in Kiev. He started to resolve all the issues for somebody else, and we didn't. He brought his people to the mine, saying that this is what required for the coordination of the work of the mine and the ministry. I don't think that our minister Demchyshin was involved in this matter. He was not involved in this. This person seriously works with those people. In the firing of Kiseliov is the step taken by him just to please those people. We are talking about MP Gubenko among those. There is such an office or hotel power, so the 20th level, those people sit who easily control the ministry. How they do that, what channel they use, we don't know. But at this point of time, the attitude on the part of the workers toward the authorities in the management rapidly changed. And the people trust us. They place confidence in us. They came here to Kiev after 1 week strike when we demanded minister to come to us. By the way, the governor actually responded. They came to us, and he visited many offices of the top authorities. He met Prime Minister and the President. He said that the management in the mine is absolutely required. Those people who now are the managers are required there in their offices now. But the governor actually met with the following fact: we were declared as a criminal grouping. Myself, they say, is a person who actually instigate the people to strike and to bring the weapons to this mine, etc. I come from Inakiva. I left Inakiva when they started to rob everybody. I personally was robbed of my car. I saw when they arrested our mayor, when they tortured our mayor, which we came to know later. That was impossible to stay there. When we came here, we had the sentiments of the people, bad sentiments, and we decided we have to change the situation. And we did everything in order to change the moods and the sentiments of the people. And then such a villain as Yuri Bereza calls me and say, just flee from there. Why should I flee to somewhere? We are here in Ukraine, we are doing something which is better required by our country. We are not going to flee anywhere. We are going to do everything possible for this enterprise to continue to operate, and the opinion of the people will be always with us. But such people as Gubenko and Bereza, who would like to return back the schemes where we had their special people who are here enforcers. And the Center Energy, there is some kind of the interlayer, I don't know, as the state coal company. What kind of company it is? Why the money which we earned somehow go to the pocket of this state coal company, not to us? Because the people came here with three demands. The major demand is to return the money which we earned. Return what belongs to us. We do not require on the state no subsidies or the money for the salaries or wages. We make money ourselves. We pay the taxes. Why they say that we are organized criminal groupings? Bereza, we know the information a long time. Who he is or what he is. Gubenko, who tries to manipulate this sector. He doesn't know anything about this sector. Those people actually ruin the coal industry. Why they do that? Why the coal industry can be managed by a person who doesn't know at all what mine is? For example, when it comes to us, our general director comes there and they bring the plan of the mining works. They say, no, we are not going to see those documents. We do not have a clue what is that. We do not have any programs, whatever. They do not have those programs. The ministry doesn't have such things like the recovery, or let's say, or tunneling of the mine. We have to privatize, to steal, to stomp on that, and all the personnel will still stay in the ministry there. They do not know what's going to happen next. We send letters to the prime ministers, to our ministry. We said, we are in the ministry, we have to know what was going on in our mine. You just ruin our minds. How would they do that? For example, the same Renat Akhmetov who buys coal from us for cheap coal, I'd say, the same Akhmetov who buys the iron ore in Kryvyi Rih, again very cheap price. And the same Renat Akhmetov actually then smolders this ore and makes some metal. This metal is then sold for dollars, and almost all the mining equipment is produced at his factories and plants. If you're talking about the conveyor without the belt, which cost $20 million, no enterprise, no mine can allow themselves luxury to buy this kind of equipment. We can buy some kind of equipment of this kind, but the smaller mines could not do that. And that doesn't the ministry know about this kind of the big difference? They know about that. We asked them to protect us about that. They said that your authorities, you can stop it, but they do not stop anything. We try to do that at our level. We collect the directors of different mines of southern Donetsk area mines, but our forces are not enough. So please don't forget about the interpreters. Maybe I'm too emotional. That's why I'm speaking too fast. But this is really the way it is. I try to speak slower, but I fail for some reason. I don't know. In a word, once again, now we address the mass media, the press. Please write about this. There were a lot of correspondents who visited us, and there was a lot of information, but this information is blocked at some certain level, and for some reason, the president doesn't know the information about what's going on or what happens in the mine. In our region, we have very good analysts like SBO or whatever, but somehow it's someone lost somewhere in the top echelon of the power. They say we should not actually leave those people in the huge mine. They cannot deprive the people of their work. And the miner says we hate to work, and we have to defend ourselves. We provide some kind of the defense line near our mines. So we we address the mass media. Please bring this information about what is really going on in our mine to the public at large. The chairman of the trade union of Krasnolymanska mine, Valentyn Shchepotin, I've been working at the mine for 34 years almost. I can say that a lot about this history, but the main story was going on today. When Konstyantyn and his team came to the mine, and you understand that each manager has to select his own assistants, though everybody used to know him as a mine for his previous period of work there. So he selected his team. He knew the people who work at our enterprise. Practically all of them stay there to work. And there is absolute mutual understanding between the Director General, experts, and the working collective. Is complete understanding. When the people start to understand that the General Director not only comes to his office, but he also takes care about the future of the personnel, where we are going to work tomorrow, what kind of salary we are going to get, and what we could expect in 20 or 30 years from now, because any large enterprise in the coal industry has to prepare their own future in advance. If we need a pool, this is not only one day which is required to resolve that. If we are talking about some kind of mining tunnels, this requires money just to get through the rock to the production area, and the people certainly understand that, and the personnel number increased by we have more than 1,000. We raised the salary by more than 30%, and the major outstanding issue today is why, not for the first time ever, the ministry such as structures the VK, they unite the mines which cannot actually feed themselves, so to say, and those which are just barely breathing, so to say. Then they put the money in the same sack and then just distribute between themselves. I understand that the people who work at Mine Tovar Association are not, this is no fault that this is the situation which we have today. We are not guilty either. The money which was made by the Krasnolymanska mine must be used to pay the salaries, to pay taxes, and natural for our development. We visited yesterday the minister. He heard with his own ears the opinion of the just ordinary people, miners, who came to this meeting. They actually thanked the general director for buying 2 mining combines that didn't happen for a long time before that. And we purchased those machinery in order to look into the future, and those reserves which were legally taken from us should be returned. Everybody is talking about that, but there is no progress so far. Those people who worked in the society and returned to the mine, they said that we do not want this kind of the company or society because the real law and some kind of the mock-up law is different things. Another issue regarding the appointment of the Director General. I cannot understand those people, the authorities who generate the instructions, they adopt the laws, and then they themselves do not fulfill those laws. There was a conference to fill the vacancy of the General Director's office, and they actually, it seems to me at least, that they, considering all the candidates, you cannot suspect anybody and say this is worthy, this is not worthy. Maybe it will be an incorrect. Konstyantyn Vasilyevich became the winner of this contest, and after that there was an order issued to fire him. Where is the logic? Either the commission was not competent enough, or there are some other reasons which affected and actually led to this order to be issued. We understand what kind of reasons are behind this order. Maybe it's associated with such a piece as Berosa, but maybe anybody else. But the collective, the personnel who puts complete trust in Sergei Vasilyevich, Konstyantyn Vasilyevich, they came to Kiev to declare that Konstyantyn Vasilyevich enjoys the support of all the people. Only those people who could not go to Kiev because they had to stay there, otherwise the mine will collapse. So this is the whole story around this mine, and the people are forced to defend their workstations to prevent somebody will be brought, some kind of incompetent persons. Because of that, we lose every week about 30,000 tons of coal. Some of the coal mines do not produce this amount of coal for a month's period of time. It so happens they cannot, or they do that. I don't know for what reason. We have such losses because somebody, something imagined. Maybe the minister has, because he issued this order For this money, we could buy a lot of different things, including the barely needed machinery. And also, she issued the minister issued the order not to pay the money to those who already earned this money. That means that non-paid salary, non-paid taxes, failure to purchase necessary raw materials, etc., etc. By his order, he actually stopped the operation of the mine, because without those materials, the mine will stop. Like the car without wheels, without the engine or fuel, and they say, drive. We can also only move from the hill downhill, so to say, if we push this car. So next time, everybody will come here. The mine will stop its operation because there will be nobody to work. Everybody will come here to ask one person why he behaves in such a way. So those are three demands: to return the reserves, to return the money, and to appoint Konstyantyn Vasilyevich as general director, and of course to strike our mine from the list of the coal company DVK. Maybe you can bring this information to the people, because we recovered such amount of coals. Not everybody else can produce up to 10,000 tons per day, and maybe they can resolve this situation. And this resolution is in the hands of the ministry. Then I have only one question: does anybody, maybe nobody, needs this coal in winter time to heat the premises or to provide the lighting in the flats and the apartments? Our collector is absolutely at the verge of indignation, and the press, the mass media comes to us, takes pictures, but we didn't see the result of the visit of the mass media to our enterprise. So please help us to make us hear. Our ministry, Alexey Milenin, Deputy General Director of the coal company Krasnolymanska. Following my colleagues, I would like to echo what has been said by my colleagues. I would like to emphasize the absolutely stupid situation which is available in the coal industry in this enterprise. Why a stupid situation? Because maybe for the first time ever, over the period of independence of our country, the miners came here not to ask the money from the authorities. They do not ask for subsidies. They do not ask for private capital to be invested. We do not ask for an assignation or subsidies. They just want to work. This is a unique enterprise. And its uniqueness can be explained by the fact that over the last 30 years, not a kopeck from the state budget came to us. We did not request that. We are self-financing company. The situation where there is separation into two structures, one private and other state-run, which emerged in the mid of 2000 years, that was more or less in the objective limits, could be explained by some economic situation, but certainly since the year 2010, the situation hasn't changed. Commercial structure had to prepare the reserves for the state-run enterprise, the amount of 27 kilometers of the tunneling of the mine. As of September 2014, when there was a change of guard, so to say, in our management, it appeared that over 5 years we did not actually excavate anything. We are lagging behind for 20 kilometers, which means 4 years of continuous work in order to keep up or catch up with the scheduled or planned work. Yes, we have reserves of more than 300 million tons, but the situation is such that when the state-run enterprise, the balance of the prepared is more 300 or 400,000 tons. Because the barrier, the private structure became a barrier which doesn't allow by their actions, and doesn't allow to further develop our enterprise. September 2014, we have the following figures: the number of the personnel in the enterprise drastically dropped to 300 persons. The recovery in the state-run enterprise was slightly more than 1,500 tons per day. So what has been done? The specific figures are we 4,470 persons were fired, and we created about 1,000 new jobs. More than 900 people who found themselves in the street and they did not get the salary. We hired them to the state-run enterprise. We gave them new job, new service records. They were provided with the salaries, official salaries, not in the envelopes, with all the tax payments. This average salary increased over this year by 35%. I mentioned that, but today average salary 8,800 hryvnia. Can you name a lot of state-run enterprises with such salary? No. This is a real salary, well-deserved salary, but there are also the project, and we would like to work on them starting from the year 2016. We would like to increase the level of our salaries and create additional 500 new jobs. This is the promising project. My colleague is going to talk about that. So this shows that even if we're talking about the plans generated now, I'll be informed now, we make provision for the further growth and dynamics and stability of the operation of our enterprise. Coming back to the year 2014, we visited the Ministry of the Coal Industry, Ministry of Energy, to defend our annual program to determine the volume of work, and the amount of the equipment to be purchased, sales of the coal we produce. We came with a program which was aimed at the figure 10,600,000 tons we had to recover to produce this kind of amount of coal. The ministry actually rejected completely this program, referring to the fact that they cannot contribute to the return of the reserves which were given to the private structure and return them to the state-run enterprise, despite the fact that the private structure does not exist now, the more so that today this private structure is indebted for more 100 or 600 million hryvnia to the state-run enterprise. They rejected this program and they came up with 675,000 tons of coal for the year. Another figure, in September our enterprise we had 1,860,000 tons. More than threefold we exceeded the scheduled amount of recovery, and we're going to continue that. And those plans, which were considered by our team and by the end of 214, not only they're realistic, they can be actually implemented. This is what we are doing now. Our salary fund is 65 million hryvnia per month. This figure created such situation when such state-run company in Central Energy and the contracts which were signed in favor of that enterprise, the indebtedness 70 plus million. This is a big figure. That's why our people who came yesterday to Kiev, and some of them stayed here, they just asked to return them what they earned. They do not ask for subsidies, and everything is transparent, all those figures. That's why they come here to demand to return their own money. We are accused of being inefficient in our work and intransparent and non-transparent. Some more figures over the year 2000. This year we paid, with all the charges to the fund, we paid approximately 490 million hryvnia. We are talking about the salaries for our personnel and our contribution or charges to the budget, about 640 million hryvnia in kind of income tax, etc. We already paid 92 million hryvnia to the state as of the first day of this month, but we are continuing to pay. This is not the maximum. Once again, I would like to emphasize all the tasks and the plans which we planned for this year by us, not by the ministry. They are being we adhere to those plans. I don't know any other state-run enterprise which could earn money for themselves, for their personnel, and who can pay money to the budget and support the country in this way under these very difficult and turmoil times. The projects which we are developing for the next year, we plan to work on the reserves for the next 45 years. We, our families, children and grandchildren will be provided with jobs. They will be paid the salary, and the state will receive our tax payments. And the most important, the level which we plan to achieve, 3.5 million tons coal per year. This would be enough to close some of the heat power plants completely. We can take care of the complete cycle of our work and exclude from the chain of the sale of the coal products different agents or intermediary agents. They are not required. If we have the monopolistic chain, we are talking about the well-grounded price for the coal, for let's say for the sale, for the TPPs, etc., with a maximum benefit to everybody. So that exhausts my information. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I am Shalimov Vyacheslav, Deputy Director. I have been working more than 40 years in the coal industry, and since 1994 as a chief engineer and in other offices at the coal mine Krasnolymanska. We have developed the program of development of mining activities. We assessed the production volumes which we need to produce so that we can provide employment to our so-called depressive regions, and also to be profitable, to operate profitably. We sometime we produced 12 million tons of coal. All other mines now are loss making. They experience their fall, but we produce a lot of coal, and if nobody interferes with our activities and we have enough transport vehicle to transport coal by railway, and now we need to pay salaries to our miners when for investment purpose some organization took our money in order to provide investment. And the coal mines, the coal mining industry is the industry where repayment periods on investment projects are very long, so purchase of new equipment or repair of old equipment is also possible only at specialized enterprises. All those activities of our ministry and other structures which are not professional, and I don't know what word can I call them. They just don't know what they are doing. They don't understand what is mining. And if the minister is not a coal miner, what we can talk about? Those people who violate all laws and rules of the coal mining industry, how can they appoint a top manager without coal mining educational background? We use some coal. I would like to say that 60 cubic meters of methane, and if some mistaken instruction is issued, people can die because of some methane blasts. Even one wrong step may cause a problem. One manager's wrong order issued may cause death. So the leaders of the country should pay attention to our company and look at those who now are heading the ministries. Some time ago, our coal mine also worked without any subsidies, and now we would like to work with the paces rising and accelerating our production rates. And what is the salary debts? What are the salary debts in question now? And what can you tell about the case in the court, Krasnolymanska court? The salaries were paid in full, have been paid in full, even talking about the state-owned companies which have debts. There are direct contracts which were forced to sign in order to ensure salaries payments to the employees. We dispatched our products to Ugal of Ukraine company, state-owned, and now all salaries for previous months have been paid out to state-owned enterprise workers. Валентина Троян, Громадське радіо, you told that you were claimed to be an organized criminal group. No, this is not documented. This is just convenient for the minister to have such position and to use some rumors. Since we have the conflict with this private part of the company, but officially no person from prosecutor's office and law enforcement offices, they didn't issue any documents saying that we are an organized criminal group. This is just convenient. When we were claimed to be an organized criminal group, the ministry is saying that Mr. Kiseliov and me stolen 350 millions. And when we ask from law enforcement officers, do you know how to steal 350 millions? If we have just 4 millions, we would have already modernized our coal mine. Where do you take this figure of 350 from. You just can send inspection to us so that they check how could we steal those 350 millions. And what about MP Bereza? Has he tried to get some money from you? Yes, he made some kinds. I'm Mr. Kiseliov. Well, my editor-in-chief will be satisfied with your photo, Mr. Kiseliov. So what can you say to sum up our discussion? Maybe our center will one more question is we don't know how to address it. We tried to address it with the prosecutor's office and law enforcement body. They are working books of those people who worked at the private company. People can't get retired. They have salaries unpaid and vacation leaves unpaid. They lose money when they go to sick leaves. Their sick leaves are unpaid because they also lose their years of work. The limited liability company should make records in their working books that people were dismissed on some date. But this problem has not been resolved so far. This was the last briefing in the Ukrainian Crisis Media Center. So goodbye and see you